wholeheartedly by all the stakeholders. Not only that, the scheme has been formulated keeping in view all the aspects and implementation possibilities by the stakeholders. I welcome Honorable Minister Sri R.K. Singh ji on this occasion, sir. We are also aware that Secretary Steel has also joined, sir. I also welcome my colleagues from Ministry of Power, those who have joined from their respective rooms, sir. I also welcome all the champions of industry who have made this scheme really worth remembering and worth emulating by other countries in the world. I also welcome our technical partners who are helping us in implementing this scheme and as well as preparing various drafts and manuals. Today, we are fortunate that Honorable Minister has agreed to release two publications. I don't take much time. Sir, with your permission, we can request DGB to make a small presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Rajpal. Honorable Minister, Chair of today's meeting, Interaction, dear colleagues from all the government departments, respected Sri Party, Secretary Steel, the senior officials, most valued our chiefs of all our designated consumers, energy auditors, stakeholders, BE officials. It's indeed a proud moment today, having completed 19 years in the as a BE after setup, and then today we are discussing under the Honorable Minister, who has been a continuous source of our guidance, to discuss the outcome of PAT 2 cycle and also find out what are the further future challenges, what we can take forward in the coming decade. Sir, we'll just have a small numbers on the PPT, insight of what has actually happened in PAT cycle 2. And this is one of the biggest single initiative anywhere in the world. Sir, we covered 11 most energy intensive sectors of the country as per the Act. We covered 621 DCs. The total energy consumption at the beginning of this cycle, which is 2014-15, which we call it as base year, was 553 million TOE, the consumption. And we had covered 304. Sir, almost that means more than 60% of the energy consumption was covered by this sector, and we covered as a mandatory target. Sir, we could achieve, the original target given was 13.63. After some DCs dropped out. But that despite that, we could achieve 14.079. So almost 14 million ton of oil equivalent. If we convert into the prices of different fuels purchased by our industry, which we got the audit report, it comes out to almost 29,000 crores, sir. That is the saving per year. All these DCs have actually resulted. They have also reported, most of them have reported the investment. The investment itself was almost 44,000 crore in these 3 years on energy efficiency and technologies measures. Sir, we could reduce the reported CO2 saving itself was 66 million ton within only these countries, these industries. There are many more fat cycles going on, and that itself is more than 80 million ton of CO2. Finally, we could also, if we convert into coal, because about 80% of used was coal, that was equivalent to 31 million tons of coal saving. Sir, we have not stopped only with PAT 2, sir, as you are aware. We have already rolled out PAT 3, 4, 5, 6. Despite the pandemic, we could roll out PAT 6 in April 2020. We are already gearing for PAT 7 with effect from April 2021. Already we have now 13 sectors. We increased from 11 to 13. We are already continuously doing the deepening and widening. We are going deep in the same sector, but we are only covering. Now we want to, even the medium sectors also like sugar, chemicals, etc., steel, etc. That is the rolling steel, etc. Then we already crossed 1,000 consumers, sir. Already 7 sector feasibility studies there. So we are will be coming approaching ministry, sir. Airports, one of the our major establishment in the building sector we have covered, and we will be notifying targets to that. Ministry of Civil Aviation is there. So with this, sir, now our coverage will be 373 million ton. So it will be almost touching 70% of our country's energy. The one single initiative, and nowhere in the world, sir, such single initiative covering so much of energy, sir. Finally, sir, energy consumed by the consumers. It will be around 585 million ton, and now out of that, PAT is covering 373. 585 was the last year, 1920. 585 was the energy consumed, and that this. Sir, what are we looking for, sir, as for this decade? We want to see that for this particular decade, when we will be talking so much on energy transition, PAT should become the effective tool as we are covering the maximum consumers, sir. We want to do major segments, and we also want, sir, SMEs. SMEs, whether we go on mandatory or voluntary, but we want to cover, we want to them also to reap benefits. They are very important sector. They are almost consuming 60 million tons, sir. We also want that now, sir, after PAT 2, the e-certs will be issued and there will be a training mechanism. Representative of CERC, POSOCO, they have also joined online. And we want that now purchase of e-cert should be a very good attractive mechanism so that consumers are more attracted to achieve more and more. We also see, we want to see if once we talk about energy transition, whether can we convert not only the energy saving, but we can also consider in coming years to issue them as an equivalent carbon certificate, because carbon certificate is internationally acceptable. So that will not only help them to save energy, but they can also do a renewable mix as per their technology. And we can finally achieve decarbonization or electrification of our economy very soon. And these consumers will be quite happy to this thing. On a long term, after having a national carbon market, we may even think of linking our achievement, our consumers having achieved, to also get their benefits from the other countries, if we can link with this thing. And maybe in the coming years, sir, we will expect the consumers to consider use of hydrogen and other clean technologies so that actually we move on to saving CO2 very fast. Sir, before we proceed the next step, sir, today we have all the DCs and some of the CEOs joined. The questions which we have given is that what kind of key intervention they have actually implemented, then what were the challenges actually they have faced in while taking all this great achievement in last 3-4 years. Then what kind of thing they expect further policy support, whether they want any hand holding, they want any capacity building or training on technology upgradation, and what kind of suggestion they may have for the future cycles of PAT, sir. Thank you so much, sir. May I request now Honorable Minister to address the gathering.
Thank you, Mr. Abhay Bhakre, the Director General of Bureau of Energy Efficiency. Officers, Mr. Rajpal, the Joint Secretary, the Secretary Power, ladies and gentlemen, we are the third largest economy in the world. And our energy consumption is around 6% of the world's primary energy consumption. Now, this our per capita energy consumption, however, is 1/3 of the world average. 1/3 of the world average. So our per capita energy consumption is actually one of the lowest in the world. We are, however, growing. We are amongst the fastest growing economies in the world. And our energy consumption will increase and is showing signs of that increase. This will happen because our economy will grow, because we have ensured universal energy access, because of increased industrialization, increased building activity, and increased energy consumption, and as people buy more and more appliances. Now, while our energy consumption is growing, we have also emerged as one of the leaders in the world in the field of energy transition. We had committed that we will reduce the emission intensity of our GDP by 33 to 35% from 2005 levels by 2030. Now, I'm happy to inform you that by 2016 itself, we had reduced the emissions intensity of our economy by 24%. The assessment for the remaining 4 years up to 2020 is going on. But I believe that we would have added significantly to that. The reason for this is that we have made rapid strides, both in adding renewable sources of electricity generation and in energy efficiency. To sum up, we are one of the countries, in fact, we are the only country, only major economy, whose trajectory of energy transition is consistent with limiting the growth of the world temperature to 2 degrees or less. We are the only major economy which is on track to doing that, insofar as our contribution is concerned. Our solar energy capacity has grown about 15 times. We had pledged that by 2030, 40% of our established power generation capacity will come from non-fossil fuel sources. Already about 38% of our power generation capacity is coming from non-fossil fuel sources. And by 2030, we will have added 450 gigawatts of renewable energy minus hydro. If you add hydro, that will be another about 70 gigawatts at the rate at which we are going. That will add up to about 520 gigawatts. And that will be at that point of time about 65% of our established capacity. In energy efficiency, again, we have made strides which is unparalleled across the world. No other country matches what we have done and what we are doing. The steps taken in the past few years have effected a reduction in our CO2 emissions by almost 310 million tons per annum. That is equivalent to the emissions of many countries put together. As I said, our achievement in energy, in reduction of emissions intensity up to 2016 to 2020 is still to be made. But my estimate is that we would have nearly reached about 28 or 29%. Now, of all the steps taken in all these spheres, 2 things stand out. One, of course, is the pace of our renewable energy capacity addition, which Bloomberg called the fastest in the world. And the other is the energy efficiency, in which we have come out with really innovative schemes and very effective schemes. The Perform, Achieve, Trade is one such scheme. In that one itself, we had crossed our target for achieving a reduction in CO2 emissions. In PAT 2, again we have crossed our target, both for energy saving and for avoiding CO2 emissions. In fact, the CO2 emissions avoided is almost about 70 million tons. of carbon dioxide. The quantum of energy savings from PAT cycle 2 is more than the total primary energy supply of a country like Sri Lanka. As I said, this scheme is unique in the world, and many countries are coming and learning from what we are doing. So you people are actually trailblazers. From all the energy efficiency programs promoted by the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, the total energy saving for the year 1920 till the end of December 20 was 28.6 million tons of oil equivalent, translating to cost saving of about 1,15,000 crores approximately. If contributions from all the schemes of BEE is taken into account, as I said, the total CO2 reduction adds up to about 310 million tons of CO2 per annum. We have other flagship schemes like the scheme for appliances, standards and labeling program. We have come out with a scheme for housing, for construction, the ECBC, which again promises to be very successful. And again, our standards and labeling program is a signature for the world. Different countries are coming and are studying what we are doing so that they can copy it. We also have launched programs for energy efficiency in agriculture, smart pumps. We have a program called KUSUM, under which we are trying to decarbonize agriculture entirely, solarize all the pumping, the entire irrigation. That is our objective. We intend to solarize all of it. We will continue to be a leader in energy transition. Now, COP26 is coming, and we have already started having interaction with many countries which are interested in what we are doing. And I have heard only praises for what India is doing. On our part, we ask them as to what they are doing. Because, as I told them that we are all in one boat. And what matters is not only what India does, but what everybody does. Unfortunately, the developed economies are nowhere near achieving the pledges which they made at Kyoto or in COP21 in Paris. That is something which needs to be done. The developed economies need to come forward and start doing it in all seriousness, instead of only talking about it. The transfers of technology and funds which they had promised had also not happened. Not that we need the transfers for ourselves. We don't need any money. As I said, we are already the world leader in energy transition. And we are the only country whose actions are on track as required for limiting the growth in global temperatures to 2 degrees or less. So we don't require any funds for ourselves. But for the other least developed countries, they need funds and they need technology for energy transition, which had been made clear in Kyoto and again in Paris. But that funding again is not coming. Let alone their funding. Ultimately, the world needs to take up and sit note the fact that the pledges which were made in COP21, where they are at insofar as achieving those pledges are concerned. As I said, insofar as we are concerned, we are going to not only achieve the whatever we had pledged, but we will cross it. Thanks to the efforts of industry leaders like you, the people like you. In the energy sector, in the past few years, we have carried out one of the biggest transitions the world has ever seen. We ensured universal access adding 28 million consumers in just about 18, 20 months. 20 months. We made our country self-sufficient, not only self-sufficient, but surplus in power generation. We connected the whole country into one grid. We increased the inter-regional transfer capacity from 33,000 megawatts to 1 lakh megawatts, 100,000 megawatts. And we are increasing it further. And as I said, the pace of our decarbonization and energy transition is the fastest in the world. So in the energy sector, I mean, we have brought about a transition which few countries have done and which few countries have, seen. Let me congratulate the Bureau of Energy Efficiency and all of you for what you have done. Let's continue doing this, because the principles by which our government acts, according to which our government acts, are very clear. We are committed to environment, irrespective of what the rest of the world is doing. We believe that environment is important, and therefore it is necessary that we reduce our emissions. So we will continue carrying on with the transition at a pace which is faster than any other country. Thank you. Thank you.
Release the one on Sir PAT manual, and there is another on the impact of energy savings. So the manual is for all the stakeholders, sir, which gives a kind of a standard operating procedures for participants, all including Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Ministry of Power, Central Electricity Regulatory Authority, POSOCO, and every stakeholder. So this will be a very useful document for all to follow. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your release. And we have another document to be released, sir. That's on the impact of energy saving projects by Bureau of Energy Efficiency under the Ministry of Power. Sir, this is in the direction from the Prime Minister's office, sir. Every year, Bureau is mandated to conduct energy efficiency impact study, and we release this is impact study annual. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the release of the book. So now we will have interaction with the then. So we have another presentation, sir.
Sir, just to, in 2 slides, we wish to give what are the benefits of these 2 releases, sir. Sir, as rightly guided by Honorable Minister, that PAT is the unique initiative anywhere in the world. Many countries, many their departments, they have come and sought information. How are you actually going to achieve all this? How are you setting the target? How the industry is supporting you? So one thing which came out is that we have a very strong and robust regulatory framework, sir. The kind of rules published by ministry, the regulations backed by our Energy Conservation Act, where we are completing today 19 years, were actually taken, suggested as the strongest mechanism anywhere in the world. That's what they commented. That's why it is happening. Sir, but 2017 onwards, we have done a step ahead. Earlier, we thought that the PAT rules are actually defining one cycle of 5 years. One baseline, then 3-year implementation, this thing. But sir, Honorable PM's Executive Committee on Climate Change suggested, no, why should you wait for every 5 years? It will be a long time. So 2017 onwards, Ministry directed BE to roll out every year. So 17 PAT 3, 18 PAT 4, like that 2020. So then we thought that only the rules and regulations are not sufficient, so we wanted to come out a user manual, because we have different kind of stakeholder. We have CERC, we have POSOCO for trading, we have energy auditors who are third-party verify accredited auditors. So every stakeholder has a unique role as per the regulation. So we came out with a very simple manual, sir, one consolidated manual, and then different manuals, sir. One for each stakeholder. So now it is in a simple manner. We have what is the role of Ministry of Power and Bureau of Energy Efficiency. So what is their role in every activity in the entire cycle. And then we have manuals for the user manuals for stakeholders like all accredited auditors, how they are doing the audit, how should be their calculation, because whenever sometimes they have the calculation, we don't agree, then we ask them to rework it. Then what is the role of designated consumers? Sir, every industry has a major role to play. They should be fully aware, in a simple words, what is the interpretation of every regulation. So they come back almost every week, they come back for different clarification. Then, sir, our state authorities, SERCs, then our state designated agencies, their field role, everything is defined in every manual with examples, case studies, so that, and all these things will be given to at state level. Every stakeholder will be provided this kind of manual, and even I think the delegations which are visiting from different countries, they will be benefited. They will also be available soon on that thing, sir. So, and as I said, sir, even we have flow chart, etc. Sir, Honorable Minister just now launched the impact of energy efficiency measures of 1920. 2021 exercise will begin from July, August, once the data is compiled, and by September ready. Sir, highlights, as Honorable Sir has already said, 177 million ton by the schemes, and the total we have 310 million tons of CO2. We have almost 1,15,000 crore saving energy per year, sir, and that itself is a huge amount. 145 billion units in the labeling and Ujala program on the electricity side, which itself is 12% of our electricity consumption in the country, sir. Next, please. Sir, may I request Honorable Minister also to have the e-launch. Next, please. Sir, this book will be available as a document, reference document for all the stakeholders once it is available on the website, sir, very soon. Click it. Sir, thank you so much, sir. Now we will start with the interaction.
Sir?
To the sector-wise, yeah.
We have, sir, all the MDs, CEOs listed alphabetically as per the sector, sir. So the first is aluminium, and the industry is Hindalco Industries Limited, Renukoot. And the representative, the Chief Operating Officer, COO, Shri N. Nagesh.
Yes, Mr. Nagesh, congratulations to you.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. Honorable Minister and all the dignitaries. It is great privilege for Hindalco to participate in this event. And we have Hindalco has about 8 units, including one subsidiary, which are covered under PAT scheme. And PAT scheme has given us company-wide focus and uniform energy accounting methodology under varying conditions of product mix, input raw material quality, etc. Aluminum production is very technology specific. Unit-wise comparison is difficult as the configurations differ and only handful number of units. Example, Renukoot unit is an integrated plant and there is no other similar unit in the whole country, having refinery, smelter, rolling, all within one unit. Barring one unit, we have achieved cycle 1 and cycle 2 targets, and doing so have mostly exhausted all our major opportunities. Many of our units are also recent and with latest technology. Going forward, for target setting, we propose process benchmarking and potential assessment for each technology type. Sir, overall objective being climate change mitigation, enhancing renewable energy use should be encouraged and credit be given to for on-site and off-site renewable energy use. Currently, there is no credit use. Currently, there is no credit if it is connected to the grid. Except as
My request is that those who are not speaking may please mute themselves, mute their mics. Only the gentleman speaking or lady speaking will unmute themselves. So everybody else, please mute yourself. Yes, carry on, Mr. Nagesh.
Yeah. Sir, at the end of cycle 1 and 2, few suggestions related to validity, trading, complete fungibility with REC. We may submit our representation with justification to BEE covering all the above points. Thank you, sir. That's all. I mean, that's from Hindalco Group.
Thank you, Mr. Nagesh. Congratulations again. And do you
Thank
have
you.
any suggestions as to how we can improve our scheme? Any ideas, suggestions? Anything more which the government can do to help you?
Yes, sir. We should. I think we should promote other like biomass and all other renewable energies, which will help the. I mean, getting into diversified energy utilization and energy manufacturing.
In fact, you should start. You should start. Going in for your own renewable energy generation capacity. That will save you a lot of money.
Yes, sir. We are working on solar energy, but I think the other areas we are planning to work. Hindalco is planning to invest and work on those sectors also.
Please do. Please do. It's a growing sector.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Then we have Ambuja Cement.
Yes, sir. Ambuja Cement is represented by Shri B.C. Pandey, Manufacturing Cluster Head.
Very good evening, sir. Very good evening, sir. Respected Minister Shri R.K. Singh ji and other. Currently, we have 9 plants which are notified under the PAT scheme. There is a complete focus on the green energy. The measures what we have at present, like the waste recovery systems in our cement plants. Solar power is another source of energy. Right now we have 36 megawatt peak capacity already installed, and we are also working on a hybrid model of 24 megawatt, that is solar plus wind, for our upcoming greenfield project in Rajasthan.
Very good.
We are also in the wind power. Currently 7.5 megawatt is in operation. This is in the Kutch, Gujarat. On the green energy side, there is a complete focus on the usage of the alternative fuels in place of the fossil. We have a very clear-cut roadmap to achieve 20% TSR in the next 3 years. That means we'll be replacing the normal fossil fuel with alternative fuels in our operations. One of our cement plant power plant in Punjab is operating at more than 50% on biomass on a sustained basis. Here we use the biomass. What we use the rice husk, paddy straw, cane, trash, etc. On the support side, sir, for further strengthening the efforts of the industry, which has already in place, and in also to surpass the targets given under the PET scheme, there are some suggestions like waste recovery system at present is not considered a green energy. I think we can this can be one point.
Noted.
And another point, the duty levied on the energy generated on such type of measures can also be waived off.
Right.
Right now, this varies from 60 paise to almost 1 paisa, 1 rupee across the states. When we look at our, technological things, the most of the cement plants are already in the existing plants are already on the threshold limit as far as the fuel and power consumptions are concerned. So any further reduction may require major technological transfer or upgradation of existing systems. So my request on behalf of my company, the government may provide the exemption on the import duties, something like that. Okay.
Right.
And on the biomass, which is a major renewable source of energy, when we operate our power plant with the biomass, that there is a certain amount of increase in our station heat rate and also in the auxiliary consumption. So some sort of incentives may be provided for the for taking it forward. Another point, sir, the bilateral trading of electricity, even within the same corporate group, is not permitted at the moment.
Okay.
So I think we request that the bilateral trading within the same corporate at least should be allowed.
Right.
So that's what from my
I think,
side.
Mr. Pandey, you made great suggestions, and I want to thank you for that. And I want you to, put these in writing, just a point each, and send it to me so that I won't miss it, because each of the points which you have made are very, very, I think,
I'll
substantive
do that.
and substantial, and deserve close attention. And I think we'll end up by adopting many of the points which you have suggested.
Right, sir.
Please send it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
I'll
sir.
do that.
And congratulations again, Mr. Pandey.
Thank you, Mr. Pandey.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Next is Shri Cement, Rajasthan, represented by Mr. P.N. Chengani, whole-time director. Mr. Chengani, please.
Congratulations, Mr. Sangani. Where are you? Shri Cement, Mr. Sangani? Okay, I think we've...
So we'll move forward, sir. From the DISCOM sector, Bangalore Electricity Supply Company Limited, BESCOM, represented by Shri M.B. Rajesh Gouds, IAS, Managing Director.
Well done, Rajesh.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. So we would like
Good
to...
afternoon.
Yes, sir. So we would like to share our journey, sir. From 2015 onwards, sir, the state has taken, has formed a scheme called Nirantara Jyoti Yojana scheme, sir, where feeders were separated, sir, completely in BESCOM, sir. Out of 5,000 feeders, the agriculture feeders numbering about 2,100 were completely separated, sir. Now, after this, once the state policy was that 7 hours of power supply only will be given to farmers, sir. So most of the farmers have gone into scientific use of water by using drip irrigation, other methods, sir. Once this was separated, sir, so our T&D loss has come down because, sir, along with NJY scheme, sir, state has also, we implemented the HVDS, high voltage distribution system, sir. So out of this, about 9 lakh IP sets, 9.4 lakh IP sets in BESCOM jurisdiction, sir, almost 3 lakh IP sets. We have have this HVDS where this 25 kVA transformer, HT level connection is given, sir, where the HT-LT ratio has also increased from 1.
So you have HVDS in the town, is it?
IP sets, sir, for all the 9 lakh 30,000 IP sets, sir. Out of these 3 lakh IP sets, we are able to do it, sir. So from our side, our request is that the remaining 6 lakh IP sets also, if we can do the HVDS, sir, where from the load from 100 to 63 kVA transformers can be shifted to 25
That's
kVA
very good.
transformers, sir. So for this, actually, the state has invested about 1,500 crores in the last 4 years, sir, where we are able to reduce the T&D loss, sir. So out of the present, this one's a requirement in this budget, which we have come out with about 3 lakh crores, sir. The remaining about 6 lakh IP sets, if they can also be, if we can increase the HT, this one high voltage, we can connect, sir. We will be able to know some support from.
So this HVDS, you
Sir.
have adopted for consumers above a certain load, or that load is not a factor.
IP sets up to 10 HP, sir. That is the state policy, sir. So up to 10 HP power IP sets which are being used, sir, by the farmers, sir. So we are doing this at our own cost, sir, BESCOM cost, sir. Under two schemes we are doing, sir. Unauthorized IP sets where we convert them to authorized IP sets also. We are trying to do the HVDS, sir. And also we are doing HVDS in the existing IP sets, this one also, sir. So in both the cases, still about 60% of these IP sets are left over, sir. So if we are able to do at the high voltage, this one to them, I think we will be able to now reduce the T&D loss much more, sir. So we have done even this Nirantara Jyoti Yojana, where we have spent about 1,800 crores in the last 3-4 years to separation of feeders, sir. So that is also helped us to now get this in the PAT scheme where distribution T&D losses, where the target was 14.50, sir, but we have our BESCOM is now present 12.62, sir. So that is the T&D losses, sir.
So you have agriculture feeders in your DISCOM also. In
Yes,
Bangalore, the Bangalore electric supply company also has agriculture sector.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have Bangalore BESCOM actually has about 8 districts, sir. Southern districts are from Davangere, sir. So it's almost about 55% of the consumers in Karnataka is facilitated by BESCOM, sir. So
Okay.
BESCOM has got rural area also apart from Bangalore metropolitan area zone, sir. So we have other 7 rural districts, like half of Karnataka actually BESCOM actually it is not misnomer, sir. It's not exactly Bangalore, sir. About 7-8 districts of Karnataka we are doing, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. So that
Good.
is one thing, sir. Sir.
Yeah.
And the second thing, sir, we are also doing this big on a big scale, the conversion of overhead to underground cable in Bangalore metropolitan area zone, sir, as of now. So the work is going on, sir. The cost is for us it is about 5,300 crores, sir. The different phases work is going on, sir. If some support can come from Government of India, sir, that will also bring the T&D losses much more to a better level, and also we will increase our
the savings from the savings by the reduced losses will more than pay for the extra investment which you are making for making it underground, isn't it?
Yes, sir. But almost like Bangalore now, BMZ area, sir, the T&D, losses are almost around 9%, sir. The more savings will come from the rural area, sir. But basically under the ease of doing business, where we are thinking of increasing our SIFI ID and our reducing the interruptions, and also to have quality power supply, sir. So, and also a small scale where we can also reduce the T&D losses in Bangalore from maybe around 8.59% to still better this one, sir.
Right.
But basically we are looking at rural area where about 7 districts to have this HVDS scheme, sir. If some budgetary some support, the form of grant can come from government of Ministry of Power, sir, and then we can also take up in a big way, sir. That is one thing, sir.
Rajesh, come and brief me sometime in the next fortnight or so. Make a trip to Delhi and brief me in detail. I'll be interested.
Yes, sir. And one more thing, sir. We had requested for 15 lakh IP sets for solarization of feeders, sir. We had sent the proposal, sir. But we have got only 50,000, sir. If this decentralized distributed solar can happen for these IP sets, basically to shift this agriculture load to solar, sir, furthermore T&D loss can be reduced, sir, because this transmission loss can also come down.
We'll give you that allocation. We'll give you that allocation. Yes.
I'll come and
you have asked for the allocation, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have asked for 15 lakh IP sets under Kusum C, sir, and about 2,000 megawatt under Kusum A, sir. If you can get this full, sir, we will
give you that.
Yes, sir.
And come and brief me what the steps which you have taken. I'll be interested.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll come with my engineer, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Congratulations again, Rajesh.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Amal, you have done very well. BSCS. Are you there? Mr. Amal Sinha? Not there? BSES, Rajdhani. Not connected. Again?
Sir, Prem Kumar from BSES Yamuna, I am connected, sir.
Yes. Where is Amal?
He was connected some time back, but now I am not finding him.
So congratulate him. Congratulate him. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. We'll move to next sector, sir, iron and steel. JSW Steel Limited, Dolby Raigarh in Maharashtra, is represented by Mr. Ashish Chandra, Head of Operations. Mr. Ashish Chandra, please.
Congratulations, Ashish.
Good afternoon, sir. Actually, I am representing Ashish Chandra. I am PP Verma, Senior Vice President, JSW Dolby. Sir, in PAT cycle 1, our plant's average specific energy consumption for base year was 6.331, and we got the energy target 6.101. Actually, actual achieved was 6.09. So JSW Steel Dolby works on 2537 energy saving certificate. In PAT cycle 2, our target was 6.080, 5.21% reduction from base year 2014-15, and we achieved 6.101. So JSW Steel Dolby Works has to purchase 6,116 energy saving certificate from PAT cycle 1, and our Salav Works, we will mitigate this shortfall, and overall gain is 1645 energy saving certificate from both the plants. So for energy saving initiatives, we have implemented the latest energy saving technologies like waste heat recovery boilers of Sinter plant, BF dry gas cleaning plant resulting in increase in TRT power generation, CDQ in Coco 1 at the rate of 60 megawatt power generation, BF gas, Coco 1 gas and LD gas holders, waste heat recovery boiler in SMS, waste gas power generation like 175 plus 55 equal to 230 megawatt will be the waste gas power generation. By all above energy saving projects and plant expansion from 5 MTPA to 10 MTPA, we are sure about the gaining the energy saving certificate in PAT cycle 3. There are some issues we are facing, sir. Actually, the kind of the raw material we are getting earlier, what we were getting and what right now we are getting, it is much inferior. Because of that, our energy consumption is going to be high, slightly high, because the slag rate is also going very high. Sir, our request is we require to be compensated in our specific energy consumption on the basis of slag rate. Sir, our co-generation power plant and TRT based on byproduct gas need to be considered under clause 86 1E as renewable power energy, because we are using our waste gases for the power generation. And
this point has been made earlier.
Yes, sir.
This point has been made earlier about using waste heat for generating energy, that it should be treated as renewable energy. This point has been made earlier.
Actually, sir, we didn't have anything. We were wasting our gas and burning through the chimney. But subsequently, we started our power plant, first 55 megawatt, and then we are going to commission our 175 megawatt. So this is a new development.
Very good. But tell me, all of you, basically, we have found that own captive is actually more inefficient than relying on grid power. So we'll sit down sometime and think about how you people can come back to grid power, and what are the requirements which the DISCOMs will have to. What do you think that the DISCOMs should do so that you can shift back to grid instead of investing your own money? Because an audit of the captive power plants has shown that the heat rates are high and emissions are high. But we'll come to that separately.
Yes, sir.
But
Okay.
congratulations, Verma and
Yeah,
to
thanks.
JSW. Now let's go to RINL.
Yes, sir. RINL represented by Mr. P.K. Rath, CMD. Mr. Rath, please.
Yeah, very good afternoon,
Raj,
sir.
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir.
Great work. Your energy saving is also very high, 1,29,907.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tons of oil equivalent. Very well done.
So only
So
one.
tell us how you did it, and also
Yeah.
tell us as to what more you think that the government can do in this field.
Yes,
Energy
sir.
savings.
Yes, thank you so
Or
much.
how can we help you?
Okay, thank you so much, sir. In the PAT second cycle, sir, as you pointed out, we reached our target 5.98 Gcal per ton of crude steel, and we have earned this 1,29,907 energy saving certificates. And sir, these are the following projects which we could implement and for the energy conservation. Sir, the installation of condensing turbine COB recently commissioned Coke Oven Battery 5 to utilize waste energy from cooling of coke. Commissioning of a top pressure turbine recovery turbine in blast furnace number 3, and installation of a billet caster in steel melt shop number 2. Installation of a pulverized coal injection in all the blast furnaces. Replacement of a burners in ignition hood of central machine 1. Energy efficient vertical shaft kiln. Installation of a stove waste heat recovery system in blast furnace number 3, and reduction of a silicon content in a hot metal, and waste gas, LD waste gas heat recovery. So these are some of the projects actually which we have implemented in the steel industry plant, and we have come to this kind of a position, sir. And if you see, sir, these are some of the following recovery units which were generating around 40 megawatt from the waste heats, and they are being used internally for our plant production, sir. 3 of the projects which were registered as clean development schemes project in UNFCCC, that RINL is obtaining around 1,70,000 tons, 1,70,000 carbon credits, sir. These are COB4 turbine, TRT, that is top pressure recovery turbine, and BF3 waste heat recovery. And only one suggestion I would like to make, sir, in the steel industry, the blast furnace department, which uses 50% of the energy, and the gas goes waste actually. And we have found out that the machines that we are using for generation of power at this moment, they use mostly coke oven gas. And when I was discussing technically whether the entire blast furnace gas can be used in that machine to generate power. So that is under discussion, sir. And probably if that happens, then it will be very useful for the steel plants, sir, because mostly the blast furnace heat that goes waste, the blast furnace gas goes waste. This is one suggestion, sir. And the other suggestions I would like to make is that kind of a financial support center for the implementation of such energy saving projects as probably is in vogue, sir. And the third one is, as we are doing for the solar projects, actually the financial assistance that has been given to us for the solar, that should continue, sir, because we also have installed a solar plant of 5 megawatt, and some of the solar plants, small solar units on our rooftops actually are for different office buildings, sir.
Good. Congratulations again, Mr. Rath.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Now we go to
Pulp and paper sector, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
And Pulp and Paper Built Graphic Paper Products Limited, Balarpur, represented by Shri Nihar Agarwal, Chief Operating Officer. Please. So I think there is some connectivity issue. We will move to railways sector. The first unit from the railways is East Coast Railways, Rail Southern, Chandrasekharpur, Shri Vasudev Panda, Principal Chief Electrical Engineer.
Good afternoon, sir.
Congratulations, Mr. Panda.
Thank you, sir. In East Coast Railway, our major energy consumption is on traction side, both diesel and electric. In last 5 years, particularly in PAT 2 cycle, we have been able to reduce the specific energy consumption by almost 15% because of 3-4 steps which we have taken. First is earlier the use of DC traction technology was prevalent mostly in railways, which has been gradually being switched over to AC traction, which is not only energy efficient but it is regenerating energy while doing braking of the trains. And East Coast Railway has a predominantly hilly terrain, because of which when the train is going down gradient, it generates a lot of energy. And to be specific, in our Kirandul line, sometimes the regeneration of energy is up to the extent of 30% of the energy consumed. So that we have been able to induct more and more three-phase locomotives, and the drivers have been counseled to use more and more regenerative braking instead of the earlier use of pneumatic braking. So these steps have given us tremendous benefit in reducing the traction energy consumption by almost 15%. In the diesel loco side also, the earlier use of WDM2 and WDG3 locomotives, DC traction locomotives, that has been changed to WDG4, which is a three-phase AC traction locomotive, and thereby almost 5% energy saving has been achieved in diesel traction. Apart from this, there are other conventional measures which we have enforced strictly by counseling our loco pilots and using the office of loco inspectors to regularly monitor their performance and reduce the energy consumption in the traction side. Sir, on non-traction side, we have taken steps to use put in place more than 3 megawatt of solar on rooftops. But I have one request, sir. Recently, the rules have been framed that a rooftop solar power of more than 10 kilowatt will have to be routed through gross metering instead of net metering. Back, and most of our developers have backed out because their initial MOU that was signed with them was at a rate of around 4 rupees per unit. So they consider that this will be unviable if gross metering is state power supply companies will not buy them. So this aspect may kindly be looked into.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so basically, right now, that gross metering and net metering, send me a paper. I'll have a look at it.
Exactly. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Next, Mr. A.K. Shukla, Northeastern Railway, Principal Chief Electrical Engineer.
Good evening, sir. I'm A.K. Shukla from NE Railway, sir.
Congratulations, Mr. Shukla.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Most of the things have been covered by Mr. Panda because it is common to railways. So we are also in Northeastern Railway. We have rationalized the use of diesel by counseling our drivers, and we are going for electrification in Northeastern Railway. So as a result of electrification, we have taken the supply from traction power at stations, and thereby we have switched off many of the DG sets. We have reduced 116 DG sets in our Northeastern Railway. This has resulted in saving of diesels. Further, we have saved energy by regenerative braking in electric traction. So these are the areas where we have saved. We have also installed 4.72 megawatts of solar powers. The issue with any railway is also that in UP state, they have stopped net metering for the commercial users. So that is how our developers are backing out. So okay. If you can help us in this.
On that point has been made. You can also send me a note. I will have it examined.
We will save more, sir.
Right.
one more point is that, sir, although we are not getting credit in terms of e-certs, but when we switch over from the diesel traction to electric traction, we reduce carbon footprint, sir.
So that should also come to you, I know.
Right, sir.
And in fact, now suppose somebody, Mr.
Yes,
Pakre, suppose some industry switches over from normal conventional electricity to renewable, should he not get e-certs? Just examine this. Okay.
That's all, sir.
Congratulations again, Mr. Shukla.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Next is Integral Coach Factory, Chennai, represented by Shri R.S. Bidonia, Principal Chief Electrical Engineer.
Good afternoon, sir. Minister of Power, Honorable Minister of Power.
Congratulations, Mr. Bidonia.
Please on that panel. Sir, ICF is basically coach manufacturing factory of Indian Railways, manufacturing various type of coaches for Indian Railways as well as for export orders, sir. We are manufacturing LHB coaches, all type of LHB coaches, sir, and also manufacturing MEMUs, EMUs, three-phase EMU units, sir, and other self-propelled coaches like power cars and so many other coaches. Sir, as under PAT cycle 2 cycle, baseline SCC was notified for ICF as 739 kg oil equivalent per equivalent coach units, against which the SCC target was fixed at 695 kg oil equivalent with minus 5.96% reduction, sir, on the baseline. ICF, sir, not only achieved the SCC targets, but surpassed it by wide margin by 41%, sir, by registering SCC at 409 kg oil equivalent per unit. And sir, we were issued energy saving certificates of 659, sir. By implementing PAT cycle 2, ICF has benefited tremendously in terms of saving of power, sir, consumption, as well as in terms of economically in terms of money also. So some measures we have adopted for energy conservation measures to reduce the SCC further. Necessary action has been initiated to arrest the air leakage by millwright department, sir. And sir, main pumps are also replaced with energy efficient pumps at many places. Timers has been incorporated in the lighting circuits and air circulating units, sir. And automatic power factor correction panels switch modes have been provided to the auto mode operation, sir. And sir, all the lighting of the ICF has been converted to LED, around 9,500 lights, which are giving a tremendous saving to ICF. Besides this, on renewable energy sites, ICF is having 10.5 megawatt solar mills, as well as we are having 3.5 megawatts rooftop solar power plants.
Congratulations.
We will further try to achieve further targets the next cycle as and when given.
Congratulations, Mr. Bidonia. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. With your permission, sir, BSES Shri Amal Sinha is online, sir. Can we take him?
Amal, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I'm so sorry, sir. There was some technical problem, sir.
But very well done, Amal. Very well done.
Thank you, sir. I'm really grateful, sir, for giving us this opportunity. Sir, we just want to convey, sir, that BSES Rajdhani Power Limited is a very progressive distribution utility operating in Delhi. Sir, we have conducted various energy efficiency programs and very innovative experiments has been done by us, sir.
Like
Sir,
what?
Sir, yes, sir. One, of course, the Ujala, we started Ujala scheme in Delhi about the street light LED replacement, where we replaced about 42 lakhs LED bulbs. The other very innovative program which we have done is, sir, behavioral energy efficiency program, which is very popular in the West, sir, where we are trying to create consumer awareness about the consumption pattern of their household with their peer neighbors. So a consumer gets a comparison that how his consumption pattern is as compared to the consumer of similar nature vicinity.
Okay.
And we covered, sir, 2 lakh consumers in Delhi, 200,000 consumers, sir. And worldwide, sir, there is a possibility of saving 1% of your input energy because the consumer awareness is very critical, sir. That is what we have understood. Many of the consumers do not know why the electricity consumption is going high and how they can control it. So we gave various kind of home energy reports on a very periodic basis, and we enlightened them that how you can control your energy consumption. So, sir, we were able to save about 1% of our input energy, which was being given to these 2 lakh consumers. This program was done under USTDA program and also through Oracle. Now we are going to expand this program to about 10 lakh consumers, sir. Earlier we had done it with 2 lakh consumers.
Right.
So the second very innovative program which we have done is what we call is Energy Wise Energy Rise program, sir. Sir, what we found that we need to nurture the energy efficiency concept among the young minds. So what, sir, we have done is we have taken about 100 schools every year where we are giving discourses on energy efficiency, energy conservation, climate change, pollution, and 30,000 students are being covered every year, sir. So in last 2 years, we have covered 60,000 students which are studying in the school of say 6th, 7th, 8th, which we thought are young minds. And these are not from the very privileged society, sir. These are students which are studying in MCD or Delhi government schools. And they have become kind of change agents, sir, because when a child goes to the family and talk to his parents and tell them that this is what is happening. So it is kind of a change agent activity which will develop this awareness at the grassroots level, sir. So this was another program which is already running, sir, and so far we have trained 60,000 students. Because of the pandemic, we had to delay it, but we are also starting a virtual, and this year again we are taking 30,000 students, sir. Beside this, sir, we have taken exchange program of this low watt fan scheme, which is BLDC fan, sir, AC replacement scheme. These are very popular scheme which is happening, sir. We have also done a pilot, sir, on a automatic demand response program with about 25 select consumers to start with, so that we can centrally through our SCADA control their consumption of high load electrical gadgets like AC and geysers. And this is just a pilot project we are running, sir.
So how does it work? How does it work?
Sir, we have got a link. We have got a smart plug attached in their home, which is connected to our SCADA, sir. And what we have found, what we know, sir, that if the temperature goes up by 1%, there is about 6% saving in energy. So if somebody is running an AC at 18 degrees, if we increase the temperature to 20 degrees, there is a saving. That is what we are trying to do it, sir. So beside this, of course, sir, as we have, as you know, sir, that we have done loss reduction. We are at 8% T&D loss. So we have been awarded the energy saving certificate, sir. Sir, my submission would be, sir, that the distribution utility should also actively participate and lead in the energy efficiency programs under the umbrella of BEE. Sir, besides AT&C, which the other avenues which I have discussed with you, sir. So there can be some energy efficiency targets, sir. Sir, Honorable Sir, you have fixed RPO targets. Similarly, there should be energy efficiency targets also given to the distribution utilities, which along with a participation and engagement with consumers, they should develop this program. And sir, there should be some reward scheme which should accrue not only to the DISCOM, but through the DISCOM to the consumers who are participating in this. So they also feel that they will get some reward, as maybe a very small reward or maybe a recognition. But it will give value to them that they have contributed something for the goodwill of the society, sir. And sir, such programs, because we are a regulated entity, we need some kind of budget support also from BEE, sir. If Honorable Sir, if you may consider to provide some budget for those distribution utility who are leading in this in this mandate, sir. Second thing, sir, the Energy Conservation Building Code is something which we should promote and make people aware, for both for the existing building and the new buildings which are coming up, sir. We should try to see how we can make our buildings green. So with an objective of net zero, so that the ideal situation is whatever your consumption you are able to generate through green sources and consume. So it would be a mix of rooftop solar or battery energy solar, sir. And also the way the buildings are constructed and the design and texture is created, sir. So these are the two suggestions, sir, I had, sir, before you for your consideration, sir. And I really wish to thank BEE and Abhay Bakri for supporting us in this initiative, sir. Thank you, sir.
Congratulations again, Amal. And your suggestions have been noted. And I think that we will involve the DISCOMs in our energy efficiency programs, because that will be very effective. Thank you again, and congratulations again. Now we shift to
Thank you, sir. Refineries.
Refineries. Yes.
The first is Reliance Industries Limited, represented by Shri Pawan K. Jain, Site President. Mr. Jain, please.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm Dibangshu Ray.
Congratulations.
Yeah, good.
Pawan, yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. I'm Dibangshu Ray. Mr. Jain is not here. So I am the president and head of technology of Jamnagar Super Site. At Jamnagar, as you know, we are operating the largest, world's largest manufacturing site, comprising of two large, ultra-large refineries, DTA and SEZ refineries, a gas cracker and a Patco gasification complex. So this is the world's largest, manufacturing site. And, the specific energy consumption of SEZ refinery happens to be the best in the world as per the benchmarking study. And we have been continuously striving to make it better. So that's the way we are working here. At Jamnagar, we have a very well-structured energy management system. Both the refineries are accredited with ISO 50001. We have a robust, monitoring system for energy, including advanced process control and real-time optimizer, which continuously optimizes on a real-time basis the power and the energy consumption in the refinery. And we have a robust flare gas monitoring system and several other best practices we have been continuously implementing at both SEZ and DTA refinery sites to make our performance better by the day. Reliance Industries is committed to reduce carbon dioxide emission. You must be knowing that our chairman, Mr. Mukesh Ambani, he has recently declared that by 2035, we are aspiring to become net zero company.
Very good.
So in keeping in consistency to this effort, we are now working towards a journey, of maximizing the consumption of renewable energy, and we are working out strategy at this point of time. PAT, which is Performance, Achieve and Trade, is one of the best and pioneering schemes initiated under the ministry and to promote, motivate designated consumers on energy conservation, I take this opportunity to thank BEE and Ministry of Power for the great initiative and drives on energy conservation measures.
Thank you.
Indeed, thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations again. The next is Mangalore Refinery.
Yes, sir. Shri Venkatesh M, Managing Director.
So, Venkatesh here, sir. Good evening. Along with me, Director Finance, Madam Umila Madam is there, and DR Sanjay Verma ji, and our technical head Shyam Kamath is there. First of all, we thank DE and Ministry of Power and your good self, sir, and giving us an opportunity to come and speak here in this fantastic forum, I should say. A lot of high technical, high value discussion. I was a party to it today. While we appreciate the efforts taken by Government of India and the Ministry of Power to drive us all to achieve better and better energy consumption and lower carbon dioxide emissions. We are grateful to have received this honor. While we are a core refining sector in the state of Karnataka, we are a 15 million ton integrated polypropylene aromatic complex refinery complex. We are a subsidiary of oil and natural gas under the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Having said that, we have our challenges in terms of being a standalone refinery. We are committed to energy conservation. We were one of the largest sites to implement solar power of 6 megawatt on a rooftop, and wherever we could find some ground level underwater storage reservoirs, underwater storage reservoirs. On top of the reservoirs, we have installed solar panels, which is roughly about 6 megawatt. We are also converting our lighting to LED. We have implemented flare gas recovery, and we are very, very critical on flaring, and a lot of effort goes into reduction of flaring. It's an economic activity also, as well as carbon dioxide reduction, advanced process control in process units and utilities. And much more than all this, we encourage our employees to participate in the suggestion scheme, and active participation is there, and very good suggestions keep coming. We reward our employees as well as implement good suggestions, thereby achieving lower and lower energy consumption. Going forward, we have some challenges in terms of capital available for meeting PAT cycle 3. I would, through our ministry, request some sort of incentive on capital expenditure spent on energy consumption reduction, identified reduction, and also an availability of capital in the market, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
A good idea. That's a good idea. I think it is noted. We'll examine this. Next.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll move to textile sector. Textile sector at Bardhaman Fabrics Unit of Bardhaman Textile Limited at Bhutni in Madhya Pradesh, represented by TC Gupta, Plant Head and Chief Operating Officer. TC Gupta.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr.
I'm from Bardhaman.
Congratulations.
So nice. Thank you, sir. And thank you for this opportunity also, sir. Bardhaman is a leading manufacturer, sir, for in yarn and in the fabric, and for this PAT cycle, in 1 and 2, our approximately 9 unit out of 20 3 are covered in this, sir. During PAT cycle 1, we were rewarded as one of best achiever by getting 10,500 TOE, sir.
Very good.
And sir, yeah, one more achievement, sir, for us and for in the BE and in the Ministry of Power, sir. And I am thankful for BE and for you, sir, and your team, sir. As we were selected, sir, as model factory for energy management manuals. So it was under, sir, BEE and ECCJ, Japan. So we completed this, sir, and a team from Japan and from BE also visited us, sir, and they appreciated our efforts. Sir, in PAT 2 also, we are in fact doing in fact good, and we invested almost 34 crore rupees to in fact change in fact technology. Also, we are engaging our employees to improve and take initiative, small initiative. For that, almost 50 numbers of projects are in fact going on. And sir, our team is actively involved with in fact BE team and with in fact Terry and your department team, sir, in fact time to time, and we are thankful for their support. As far as sir, PAT scheme is in fact concerned, I am in fact thankful and would like to appreciate from my organization that this scheme is very transparent, sir. There is no in fact dispute. It is a very good initiative, sir, and because of this, we are achieving. Because in fact, sir, in fact, textile is a very low margin industry. So, as you ask about challenges, sir, in our case, sir, many industry are in fact new installed, but more plants are modernized just 10 years ago. So in fact there was challenge for us how to improve and do best in this. So because of the formulation of this PAT, I really appreciate your team, the way they in fact designed this program, sir. In our case, sir, we have also installed 15 megawatt solar energy. So it has already been installed, sir. It is already running. And as far as my suggestion is in fact concerned, if there is some kind of scheme, sir, if one is in fact doing good and getting good results, so some kind of economical or monetary support if they can get, sir. So yeah, sir.
So
thank you, sir.
No, Mr. Gupta, I think we need to get data about from all the industries about the installation by them of renewable energy. Yes, congratulations, Mr. Gupta.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Thank you, Mr. Gupta. Next is from Shriram Rayons. Mr. Hello.
Hello. Am I audible? Am I audible, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Gupta. All those who are not please mute themselves. Now we go to Shriram Rayan. Everybody else, please mute yourselves.
Sir, this is VK Jetli. I am CEO of DCM Shriram Industries Limited. Our plant is based in...
Congratulations.
Sir, we are a part of DCM Shriram Industries Limited. Our plant is based in Kota, Rajasthan. We are in a technical textile sector, sir. The product what we produce, there are only 4 producers of the product in the world, and we need to compete with the German manufacturer. We manufacture the reinforcement material for automobiles tire, which is used as a reinforcement material and in a high-speed, high-performance cars. Our product is used into cars which run for 280 miles to 350 miles per hour. Our main competitors are in Europe. Thank you very much for the BE and Power Ministry of Power for introducing PAT scheme. Sir, I am happy to inform you in the first PAT cycle, we were #1 in textile sector and we were given 14,500 e-certs, sir. In second PAT cycle also, we have earned approximately 12,500 e-cert. I will not go into the details what all I have done. I will tell you certain things which the other people can also have some point or hint from that to how to improve upon. Sir, in India, the textile sector consumes the maximum power and cost of production accounts for almost 13% of a total cost in terms of power. Whereas if you look at the figure in China, it's only 6% is the power cost in China of textile sector, whereas in India it is 13%. There is a huge opportunity in textile sector to save energy, sir. Sir, I'm happy to inform you, when the PAT cycle started, we are the only company in India to think of changing the entire coal with the fossil fuel, that is mustard husk and agro waste. Sir, I have come from Rajasthan, where mustard husk is taken. The mustard is not even this ka jo the husk hai. It is the cattle also do not eat that. When I saw this, we have a discussion with our people. We said, let us invest the money. This is the human waste. This is the energy waste in the country. So the mustard husk which farmer used to burn in the country, we have started converting boiler one by one, and we have converted entire our boiler and invest over 40 crores of rupees in changing our boiler from coal to agro waste fired boiler, sir. And we have also changed our 2 turbines, and we have invested more than 60 crore rupees in last 5 years time in converting and using the mustard husk. Sir, I'm happy to inform you, we have converted we are using 98% agro waste, and we have reduced the use of coal by 98% in our plant, and this is what we are doing.
Very well.
Sir, Sir, this is not only the thing. I will not go. We have changed this thing. We have gone for all energy saving schemes. We have gone for everything. We have also installed the solar power plant. But how do we do it? It's not only what in our company, in our thinking, we don't think. Maturity does not mean we speak big things. Maturity means understanding small things, sir. So in our company, we have a huge manpower of 2,000 people. Each worker is involved in an energy saving activity. We call them an energy captain. Each department has one energy captain. He looks into not only the power, steam, water, or compressed air, or all kind of energy which is used in my plant is looked by energy captain. So we have a methodology through which we have designated energy captain, and there is a separate energy cell in our company. Similarly, what we do, any suggestion given by my workman, we have a suggestion scheme also is also rewarded for energy suggestion which we implement in the plant, and it is on 15th August and 26th January in the full function. We honor that workman, how very small he is or how big an executive is. So and we have our school also, Dr. Bansidhar School, where we have converted entire school into the solar power plant. Since it is a day school only, so in next 1 year time, we will be running entire school on solar power plant, sir. I have 2-3 suggestions, small suggestions. I mean, I don't know whether how you will help me, sir. We are a manufacturer, exporter of technical textile. I have a competitor in Europe. I mean, we do all the things which even government does not. Before you come out with this thing, we have gone for conversion of agro waste. We have gone for a compressor, the energy efficient compressor or energy efficient motor or IC4 motor. I'm not saying that. Sir, what happens? I spent 50 crore rupees. You ask us to reduce my target. I achieved the target also. But what happens? Sir, one fine morning, the people come and they say, you pay 60 paisa as a electricity duty. Sir, I invest money, I put my money, I save energy, I generate power, my people work. State government says, pay me the electricity duty on whatever power you have generated. Sir, how an industry can invest money if you keep, right. Sir, when government comes, they will have no power. And then they increase the electricity duty 1 rupee. They reduce to 40 paisa. They say now we have reduced 60 paisa per unit is the cost. Second, sir, you have mentioned one thing very valid. We must encourage the people to take the power from the grid. Sir, energy exchange is also operational in the country. Some of us started buying the power from energy exchange also. But the state government, they have increased this cross subsidy by 2 rupees, made this thing power. So even stock exchange, energy exchange has become almost defunct, sir. Similarly, as a Ministry of Power, my request and submission would be At least central government must issue a guideline. No state should charge so much unit for any industry. Sir, in Rajasthan, this power cost is the maximum in the country. 8 rupees I pay for the power. Whereas you look at Gujarat.
Mr. Sundaramurthy, can we, could you be a little short so that you know?
Okay, fine. Sir, my simple submission is, sir, this electricity duty for after investment, after doing everything.
What you do, the points which you are raising, can you write it and send it?
Sir, sure.
I am, in accord with you. I am in accord with you about the points which you are raising. Just write it down. Other people have also raised these points. Just write it down and send it.
Sir,
I think they are valid points. And congratulations again, Mr. Jaitley.
Sir, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity and representing the exporter manufacturer community. Thank you, sir.
So just send me a paper.
Sir, absolutely right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll move to thermal power plant sector, sir. The unit is Lanco Kondapalli Power Private Limited, represented by Shri Sundaramurthy, Vice President Operations.
Good evening, sir. I am Sundaramurthy from Lanco Kondapalli Power. Ours is the gas-based power plant.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Our thing is a gas-based power plant, sir. We have a 1,475 megawatt capacity plant. It is constructed in 3 phases. And our phase 1 is in the PAT cycle. PAT cycle 1, our target was 1988 kilocalories. We achieved 1932.5, sir. In fact, we gained 55.5 kilocalories more than the target. That way, we got the E-certificate of 13,335 E-certificates we got for that. By doing so many energy conservation measures. PAT cycle 2, our target was 2052 and we achieved 2017. And heat rate gain was 35.72 kilocalories. We expected to get about 2001 E-certificate for this. Our company also certificate for the ISO 50001. So now our concern is, though our capacity is almost about 1,500 megawatt capacity, we are operating less than 10% of the installed capacity, sir, due to non-availability of gas. Now we are finding the difficulty also because that when the PLF is coming down, our heat rate is going down. We are not able to.
What's happening? Gas is coming down. Yeah.
Gas is coming down. Our gas resource is coming down. Since the PLF is, our load factor is coming down and heat rate is going up. It's very difficult to achieve the target heat rate there.
I know.
Our sincere request to that Honorable Minister to kindly consider our gas-based power plant, try to do something there to revival of the gas-based power plant.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Coastal Gujarat.
Coastal Gujarat, Shri A.N. Ramesh, CEO.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I think Lanco needs on mute. Good afternoon, sir. And really very, very impressive figures of conservation of energy which were shown to us. On a national level, it's really, really impressive. And we have also contributed in a little way to the energy saving measures. So basically, we run this 4150 ultra mega power plant at Mundra, Kutch, part of the Tata Power Group, and we have one of the best heat rates in the country. We are presently operating at about 2090, and the PAT cycle has helped us, focus our efficiency measures so that we achieve better heat rates. And basically, we are a stressed unit. We are facing a lot of under recovery due to the high coal price. And the only savings that we achieve through heat rate, heat rate reduction is what we gain. So we reduce our under recovery through this. So basically, we have done a number of measures like, variable frequency drives, then introducing water cannons in our boiler, which have all helped to, reduce the heat rate. And as I said, we have an ambitious target in 5 years, in the next 5 years, to reduce from 2090 to 2050 by various methods. Now, we will request for some help. We are thinking of deploying some cutting-edge technologies for heat rate reduction and auxiliary power reduction. So there are some imported items that we are considering, for which I would request we will write to you separately on this.
Please do that.
Government could,
Please do that.
if government could consider input. Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have a paper sector left, sir, because of connectivity. If Mr. Nahar Agarwal, Chief Operating Officer of Built Graphic Paper, is connected. Mr. Nahar Agarwal. Nihar Agarwal.
Yeah, I'm here. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Agarwal.
And thank you, sir. And I'm extremely grateful for this opportunity. I represent Built Graphic Paper Products Limited, and we run 2 plants in Maharashtra. One is in Balarpur and one is in Bhigwan, with a combined capacity of 600,000 tons of paper per annum. And during this PAT cycle, sir, we have taken almost like 27 projects, energy efficiency projects, and we have been able to bring down our energy consumption or other coal consumption by almost like 15% over the PAT cycle 1. This translates to a coal consumption of something like 55,000 tons per annum, which is something like 18% of our total coal consumption.
Very good.
And some of the important projects, because there is a paucity of time, I'll just list out a few projects which we had taken, the important ones. One of the important projects was that we made efforts to increase the steam consumption from our chemical recovery boiler, which uses biomass from our pulping process. So it's a biomass which comes from the pulping process, which is actually a byproduct. And this helped us to reduce our coal consumption in the coal boiler. So the coal boiler steam came down and the biomass steam went up, which helped us to actually shut one boiler and one turbine completely. And with that, sir, we improved the efficiency of our evaporators, in which we use steam to actually evaporate water. And there we, moved over from 5 effect to 6 effect, which reduced our steam consumption. And additionally, sir, there was a huge focus in the plant in reducing the energy consumption through pump efficiencies. We changed the pumps wherever the efficiency was lower. We installed VFDs, variable frequency drives, wherever the flow was variable. And this really helped us to reduce the energy consumption in the plant. So overall, sir, in the PAT cycle 2, we have been able to actually bring down our energy consumption by almost like 10 to 20% on a combined basis. And sir, on the future, we have asked for some suggestions. I have a couple of suggestions to make. And sir, this pulp and paper industry is a very capital intensive plant. And there is a lot of investment which we have to make if we have to invest in new technology. And so till now, what we have done is we have made some investments here and there. We have, the low hanging fruits have been taken care of. But now, if we have to remove obsolescence, get into new technology, there is a lot of investment which might be required. So it will be, it's just a suggestion, if we could look at some kind of investment subsidy scheme, which could be linked to the kind of savings we achieve from those projects. That will be very helpful for the industry actually to, look into. And actually, sir, I am also the president of the Technical and Environment Committee of the IPMA, which represents the pulp and paper industry. So this is a point we discussed in the industry also. And everybody felt that if we could have some kind of an investment subsidy scheme, that would really help us to push the investment through and bring in some kind of energy saving the industry overall. And the second point is that paper industry is a little bit specific. It's a problem related to paper industry, which is a little bit specific to paper industry. We make paper which is lighter grammage and which is heavy grammage also. So when heavy grammage is a thicker paper and lighter grammage is a light paper. So whenever we make heavy grammage of paper, the energy consumption per ton of the product goes down. But whenever you make lighter grammage paper, on the same machine, the energy consumption goes up. So when we are discussing the PAT 3 targets, this is something we want from the industry. Actually, this is a suggestion from the industry that if we could use some normalizing factor, and the industry would, the association would be happy to actually partner with BE on finding a solution to this problem, sir. Thank you, sir. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, sir. Sir, with your permission, sir, BSES Yamuna CEO Prem Kumar would like to interact with you, sir. Pulp is not coming.
West Coast Paper Mill.
West Coast Paper, Shri B.H. Rathi, President. He's not able to connect, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
yes, Yamuna.
Yes, sir. CEO represented by Shri CEO Prem Kumarji. He is the BACS Yamuna is, sir, one of the top 5 discoms and has a T&D loss less than 8%. So he would like to interact with you, sir, with your
Yes,
permission.
Mr. Prem Kumar.
Thank you.
Sir, thanks for the opportunity, sir. Sir,
congratulations, yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, when we were included in the PAD2 cycle 16-19, the PAD2 among all 44 DISCOM, we were given a task of reducing our T&D losses from 19.5% to 15.3%. That is by 4.2%. And we took it like a challenge and more like an opportunity. And our team has reduced the losses by 10.2%. That is about 250% of the targeted value what the BE has given to us. And we had, our area is a very, very congested area. It is one of the most densest area in the whole of the capital city. It is the original Delhi on both the eastern side and the western side. We have a consumer density of about 10,000 consumers per square kilometer. About 50 to 80,000 people residing in our area. And we thought that the traditional methods will not work in this area. And we had done a lot of community engagement and the CSR program to win over the community. And apart from the technical programs, like installation of the IGMS, LTAV, analytics, powerful analytics, etc., HVDS, to bring down our losses. We participated in the BE program of Ujala, efficient appliances, and we have succeeded there also in our area. We thank BE for involving us in the capacity building program. We ultimately think that more and more people in our company, if they are made conscious about the energy conservation and energy efficiency, they ultimately turn out to be an ambassador to the community. With the employee engagement and the community engagement, all the tasks can be done, sir. Apart from that, whatever the good programs are being done in the BRPL, we share the best practices among ourselves. Whatever we do good, we share with them. Whatever they do good, we share with them. I have got a few suggestions to make, sir. The audit formality to claim ESCerts is a lengthy and time consuming because DISCOMs are a regulated entity and every regulatory commission carry out the prudence check and the audits. If the true up value of the regulator is taken for the claiming of ESCerts, that will be useful. My second suggestion is
the regulators thing.
Now the BE carries out a separate audit, and the regulator also carries out a separate audit.
Right.
They can take up.
Understood.
The second point I would like to make is the ultimate objective of ESCerts and RPO is to reduce the carbon footprint and decarbonization of the economy to fulfill the NDC targets. In this broad context, if the ESCerts credit may be considered to be allowed in case of a RPO shortfall, the ministry may kindly consider.
Fungibility, okay.
Fungibility. And the third thing
that means use some other form of renewable energy instead of solar, for example, or use solar instead of wind, like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And sir, since this is the first time DISCOMs are going to get the e-certificates, and this is an incentive in nature, I would urge that this should be allowed to be retained by the DISCOM, because many SCRC will treat this as an NTI, not as an incentive. Therefore, regulatory clarity is required to be given to the regulators.
What the SCRC will treat this as what?
Non-tariff income.
Oh.
But sir, it is an incentive to the DISCOM.
Okay.
The DISCOM should be allowed to be.
Right.
If the MOP.
Okay.
If the MOP
noted.
can consider to.
Noted.
And because ESCerts is now getting a wide popularity, if the wider and the more deeper market mechanism is developed, so that it is freely tradable.
Like deeper market mechanism for e-certs.
Like, yes, sir.
It will happen. We are increasing the penalty for non-achievement of the RPO. So the market for e-certs will grow huge.
But the linkage is not there between e-certs and RPO currently.
We will have to make a linkage. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So these are some of the suggestions from my side, sir. Right. And thanks again for giving opportunity, sir. And thanks B for including us in this program.
Congratulations again.
Thank you, sir. So these were the interactions, sir, to people. And just to let you know, sir, there are around 650 attendees, including 650, sir, including officials from states, designated agencies, and other partner organizations. So I would request, sir, for the concluding remarks so that we can close.
So I want to congratulate all of you again. And we have received a number of very pertinent suggestions. All of these have been noted, and you will see many of these being brought into the rules, regulations, and being given effect to. So by and large, whatever suggestion I've heard, they have all been based on the facts, and they all seem to be very pertinent. So we'll follow up on your suggestions. My only request would be that whatever suggestion you have made, if you can just put it down very briefly and send it to me, that will help me to follow all these up, even though we have the minutes of today's meeting. Our objective is that we want to electrify the economy. That means, of course, electrification has two implications here. One is rapid growth. The other is actually electrifying it, the mode of energy which you use. So my request to the industry is that shift more and more things towards use of electricity based technology, rather than and use electricity from the grid. You will find that to be cheaper. We'll work out ways and means of making it cheaper. My objective, as I said, in electrification of the economy is to get all sectors to start using electricity. So electricity for mobility, that is one. Electricity for cooking, that is the other. And we'll find that while this will increase your efficiencies, it will reduce our import burdens. It will also reduce the carbon load, because we are rapidly infusing more and more renewable energy into our electricity generation. And that greening of the grid will continue. We'll continue adding grid-connected renewable energy at a fast pace. The other is, I was so happy to hear that all of you are adding renewable energy capacity. Please do so. All of you who are not doing so, do so. You will find that you will save money, and you will also be reducing emissions. So you will be doing the world a favor, apart, of course, from reducing your costs. If there is any way in which I can encourage you to do this, please tell me and send you suggestions. We would like to put in place a policy mechanism which induces you to go in for renewable energy. All of you should lay down targets for going to net zero insofar as your energy consumption is concerned. Transitioning entirely to renewable energy. It is going to be difficult. You have to reduce your carbon footprint. That's a commitment which all of us need to keep, because environment is actually something very important. We have to leave behind a better world for our grandchildren, great-grandchildren. And of course, it will save you money. It will save you lots of money. But that is a secondary reason. So I would request all of you to start adding more and more renewables to your portfolio. You will find that it pays if you switch to renewables. We are also thinking of moving towards hydrogen, as the Prime Minister announced, as was also announced in the budget speech. We will be coming out with a bid for hydrogen very shortly, in another 5-6 months, for green hydrogen. And gradually I'll start inducing all sectors to use hydrogen. If you are using natural gas, we will ask you to add, let's say, 10% hydrogen to your PNG. If you are using LPG, again, if you are extracting your hydrogen which you use in the steel sector or in the refinery sector, if you are using natural gas to extract hydrogen, our submission to you will be that start adding green hydrogen made in India instead of importing natural gas and extracting hydrogen from it. That is the way towards strategic autonomy. Reduce our dependence on imported sources of fuel. That is our overall end objective of us as a country, that we reduce our dependence on imported sources of energy. And it is possible now because of the advances in renewable energy. And hydrogen will make it more possible, more so. This will also, of course, reduce our carbon footprint. That again is another goal which we have. As I told you, environment for us is very important. For the Prime Minister, it is actually very, very important. And I think it's very important for the world, for the future of the world. In the coming months, you will hear more and more talk about the environment as we come closer to COP26, which will happen in November in Glasgow. So you will hear more and more developed countries starting to give speeches about how, we need to reduce our carbon footprint, etc. And you will hear more talk about, India being a large country and therefore its gross emissions being very high, and therefore India being required to do something. And again, my reply to all those will be that we are doing things faster than you are. And it is the developed world which now needs to get down to it and start reducing their emissions. They have to start reducing their emissions very seriously, and they have to move away from a lifestyle which splurges on energy, where you have one person, driving an SUV which probably consumes 5 times the quantity of energy which our cars consume, or one family owning 5, 6 cars, or the whole house being heated throughout the day, throughout the night, even when nobody is occupying, or even when only one person is living there. Their per capita consumption is what? 7 times, 10 times ours. As I said, our per capita consumption is 1/3 of the world average. We have the lowest per capita consumption in the world. The carbon load which is there, 75% of it is all by the developed countries, whose population itself is very small. Imagine the carbon space which they have occupied. So now is the time for us to grow. We will grow, and we'll use energy. Of course, we'll try our level best to make sure that the energy which we use is as green as possible, as clean as possible. That we'll do by ourselves, of our own volition, because we believe that it is important. But we don't have any patience to listen to any lectures by those who are emitting 10 times of what we are emitting. That patience is no longer there. But thank you all. Thank you very much, and congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
As the minister has to leave for an important meeting, I take this opportunity to thank all of you, particularly